Hi, I'm Samba, short for Sambasivam Subramaniam. I am part of the cloud strategy and transformation team, part of the consulting group in TCS. And I actually specialize in multi-cloud. And because of that, I keenly watch all the hyperscalers, particularly the newer services which they're given. And consequently, I do very closely follow what is that we need to do to ensure that we are able to interop or move applications from one cloud onto another cloud seamlessly. It could be in application or it could be data portability. That's one of the key areas of interest for me. Cloud interoperability is we definitely want to have an application which is running on one particular cloud, be it private or be it public or any one of these hyperscalers, to move seamlessly to another cloud environment. So we should have the flexibility given to the enterprises so that they'll be able to build, deploy hybrid applications, and they take advantage. It could be that they don't want to get locked into a particular vendor or a particular technology and create applications with which they will be able to move across different clouds. See, today there are 3, 4 popular ones. Maybe there will be few more. If we have a common understanding in terms of how these clouds will work in terms of APIs, in terms of data interchange, the way in which applications can be moved will be left to the enterprises to decide, as long as they architect based on the APIs provided by each one of the cloud service providers. It is important now because many of the enterprise customers have started moving to cloud, and they've started moving their initially they started with non-core applications. Now they started moving with core applications. So it's important for them to look at when and how they would want to move across cloud, maybe to take advantage of the features in the other cloud service provider, or maybe even make cost advantage, and also to possibly de-risk themselves in terms of vendor lock-in. These could be the various reasons why it is very important today. See, each one of the cloud service providers have definitely created a niche for themselves in terms of services and features which are available in their platforms. Okay, right? And you will see that there's no common shared framework between these cloud service providers. Okay, right? So what happens is an enterprise which decides to use one of the hyperscalers will sort of be connected to the hip once you start using some of the core features of the cloud service provider. So it actually takes us to a lack of standards in terms of how do you sort of look at moving from one provider to another provider. That is one part. Second, as I mentioned earlier, in terms of vendor lock-in. So you have proprietary services from different cloud service providers, which are available only on their platform, not available on any other platforms. Okay, right? So this is the second one. The third one could be around the data portability itself. So you have some information which is on-prem, and also you're using some SaaS-based applications, some PaaS-based applications. So the enterprises are sort of connected to the underlying platform in a larger extent than being agnostic to some of those. That is the third barrier in terms of the data portability. And the fourth one could be mainly around the security concerns, where there are different systems, different types of compliance, and also there are regulatory requirements in each one of their countries. For example, in some countries, only some cloud service providers are available now. So tomorrow, if another cloud service provider comes in and we want to take advantage of the features in the other service, the new cloud service provider, you will not be able to move your application. This may look like vendor lock-in, but it's slightly more involved than vendor lock-in. And of course, it is also complexity. Just imagine a customer who wants to use, say, different clouds, primarily because they want to actually go ahead and use the features in the cloud service the cloud service provider is giving them. So you will now have 3 different sets of or 3 or 4 or 5 different sets of cloud service providers having their own proprietary things in there, which also makes it that much more difficult in a multi-cloud environment. So you can actually go ahead and say that all these are specifically the technology barriers. In terms of business barriers, it's more like I want to do what my business needs, both in terms of cost, in terms of time to market. But just because I'm sort of wedded to a particular cloud service provider, it should not sort of give me difficulty in terms of my time to market or go to market from the application perspective. multiple initiatives have been taken. That's a good thing which is happening. Most important, you will have, for example, ISO came up with 19941. This was started in 2017, which actually gives you what should be the common framework. We also have IEEE, which has got 2301 and 2302, which have given standards. And also there are some European Commission sponsored SWIPO, they call it, okay, switching cloud providers and data porting data facilitated by the European Commission. So these are 3 or 4 important things which are being laid out, and the cloud service providers are trying to sort of work around these frameworks that are in there. So essentially, they're trying to look at adopting specific standards and protocols, also offering hybrid solutions, also looking at data portability, and more importantly, simplifying integration by including APIs and how do you integrate different platforms. There are multiple tools, for example, Anthos or Arc from GCP and Azure, which can actually run on-prem, so that whenever you move to cloud, it's going to be made that much more easier and simpler. So you see that there are investments being made. At the same time, there are some proprietary stuff which are being put on each one of the cloud service providers because they want to have a unique differentiator for their own services. So that is the dichotomy right now. But there are efforts which are being taken in primarily at the global level to see that there are common standards and each one of the CSPs will start adhering to them, and the enterprises will be demanding them more than the CSPs being very keen on going ahead and implementing some of these. Actually trying to create a baseline architecture, which is going to be actually taking care of some of these challenges that are in there. However, at a very high level, when they create the cloud strategy, they will look at where and what we will look at being with one service provider or going ahead and capitalizing the features which are available in a particular service provider. So assume that a particular application is running on production. They may want to actually go ahead and invest in a particular cloud service provider and look at it as a 3-year or a 5-year horizon. In this particular case, they may just have the basic tenets of the cloud interoperability. However, when they are looking at a larger landscape and when they are going to be re-architecting their application, they are going to be going more into microservices and API based work, so that they will be able to go ahead and interop, and more importantly, keep their application small and nimble. That is going to be very important for them, so that even if they have to move or even if they make a few changes in their code, it must be that much more easier and manageable for them. So the applications will the enterprise are looking at their applications in such a way that which are the ones which I will re-platform or re-architect. For those, they are looking at specific interoperability considerations. And there again, they are going to be looking at ISO and IEEE to give them the specific standards so that they're guaranteed of interoping the data across.